have you communicated with him at all recently?
No, I have tried to get in touch with him. Ethan had an issue that I had to reach out to all legal parties a little bit ago. I texted him because he didn't answer when I called. And then 2 or 3 days later, he texted me back, "Who is this?" And I was like, "It's Samara." Nothing back. I haven't seen him face to face since like July.
Okay.
Well, in light of that, Your Honor, I think we're ready to proceed.
Okay, we are here set for our final today. We are conducting this through the Zoom program. And we are live streaming on our YouTube channel. We are holding this hearing electronically based on a finding of good cause and by the agreement of the parties. Ms. Taylor is making our record today. Okay, if y'all want to go ahead and make announcements.
Daniel Trout for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Laura Cott for Adam Scholl's father of the child. I am present. My client is not. I communicated with him last week and he indicated he wanted to participate. So I would ask the court for a continuance to try and locate him.
T.D. Hammonds for Mother Latoya Bernard. We're ready, Judge. She's present.
Brooks Barfield ad litem for the child. Ready to proceed.
All right, Ms. Cook, this is actually a recall of our final, which we called originally on March 7th of this year. And for various reasons, we reset it to today. Mr. Scholes wasn't present at that setting either. And we have, of course, now we are past our dismissal date, and that's why we called the case. So I'm going to deny that motion because we really need to proceed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right then. Crowd, I was looking back to see if I had a note about who you had on the stand.
I believe I had Ms. Darren on the stand at that time.
I'm sorry, Ms. Duran?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right then. Ms. Duran, is that your recollection as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then you are still under oath, ma'am, and you may proceed.
I think we'd already announced your name and everything. That's about as far as we got tomorrow. Just to start off, at this time, the department's not asking for any termination of any parental rights. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what we're asking for is PMC to the department, possessory to the parents. I believe there is a prior order on dad for child support, or is it a disability? I may be wrong on that.
I believe that there was a final order for dad with child support.
Okay. And we would be asking for that to stay in place.
Yes.
We would not ask for any child support or medical support for the mother.
Correct.
And visitations with family would still be open, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you spoken to the mother about this?
Yes, I have.
And has mother relayed that she would be in agreement with this?
Yes, Latoya is always acted like she would be in agreement with that kind of order.
Okay. And the child, where is the child placed right now?
Children's home.
Okay. And is he doing well there?
Yes, he is.
And does the child wish to remain in that? As he
He kind of goes back and forth with whether he would like to go with the aunt that we've asked for a home study for before, or if he wants to stay. Last time I talked to him, he was still pretty adamant about staying, but I believe a couple months prior, while I was on leave, he told the covering worker he wanted to go with his aunt. So he's just kind of wishy-washy about where he wants to be.
But he's doing fairly well right now.
Yes.
Okay. And does the child still, he wants communication with his mother?
Yes, he does.
Okay. In regards to the father, has he relayed what type of communication he wants with the father at this time?
Yeah, Ethan is really adamant that he does not want contact with his dad, just because his dad would no call, no show visits often with him. It put Ethan in kind of a really bad spot mentally.
Okay.
And so he just wishes that we don't try going forward.
Okay. But the department's not asking to cut off those visitations. Those will still be there if the child would like to visit with his father.
Correct.
The department would not stand in the way of any communication with the father.
No.
When was I know we talked about it a little bit a second ago. When's the last time you had actual contact with the father, Adam Scholes?
In October, I let him know that I had set up a therapeutic visit for him and Ethan. A couple weeks later, he texted me the same day and said that he would be there. And that's the last time I had actual contact with him.
Okay. And did he show up at that one?
No, he did not.
Okay. And back up because I think I skipped this part. Mother in this case is LaToya Bernard
Correct.
and father is Adam Scholes, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Has the child given any other wishes that he's looking for in finalizing on this case?
Not towards the finalizing, no.
Okay. And asking for PMC to department and possessory to the parents, do we believe that is in the best interest of the child at this time?
Yes, I do.
Have there been struggles from the parents on both sides as far as completing all services and getting that stuff done?
Yes, there have.
Okay. Has either parent at this point completed everything?
No, sir.
And those were services based on the service plans?
Yes.
So just to verify one more time, permanent managing conservatorship to the department,
Right.
Possessory to the parents,
Yes, sir.
visitations as the child wants them.
Yes.
Would be open. And that could be electronically or were they allowed to do face-to-face at this time?
Yes.
Okay, so face-to-face visits are virtual electronic communications are all open if the child's willing to do those.
Whatever Ethan wants. Yes.
And to leave the child where he is right now, he graduates from there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is the child expressed any wanting to go into aftercare at all? Have y'all discussed that?
Yeah, we've talked about it. Right now he thinks that he wants to do supervised independent living when he gets a little older.
Okay.
He's talking about college and just like after goals. So I think he's in a really good place.
Okay, so he is considering his options once he turns.
Yes.
Okay. How much longer? I know will be 17 in August, I believe, September, somewhere in there. How long is he on track to graduate high school at the right time? Or
Yes, he is.
okay. Is he possibly going to graduate any earlier, or he'd be 18 when he finishes?
Possibly. We've had some incidents in school. They're looking to move him to a like do your own pace kind of campus here in town. And it's my understanding that he would be able to graduate early if he really put his mind to it.
Okay. And we'd also be asking that any child support or medical support that was ordered in a prior order from dad still remain in effect.
Yes.
And we would not be ordering any child support or medical support from mother, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And we do believe this is in the best interest of the child at this time,
Yes, I do.
and he is doing well where he is.
Yes, sir.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Hammonds.
Ms. Duran, what type of visitation has there been over, say, the last 6 months to a year? I mean, has Ethan visited with his mom and his siblings like twice a month or?
I believe it's every week is what it's scheduled to be. Now, if things have differentiated due to schedules, that's possible, but it's been supervised in person. At first, we were doing it at a local park, and now we're doing it in Miss Bernard's home so he can see his siblings and his grandmother.
Okay, and they've done everything to meeting at the park to Zoom hearings, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and all those have gone fairly well.
Yes.
I have nothing further, Judge.
All right, Ms. Cobb.
Mr. Scholes has participated in some of his services, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When he got out of prison, he immediately started contacting you and working on his services.
He did not contact me directly. I know that he spoke with the previous caseworker, and I believe that was right after he had gotten out.
So he communicated with the department.
Yes, ma'am.
And so was it ever indicated to him that he would have no chance of getting his child back?
No, it was not. I encouraged Mr. Scholes multiple times to start his service plan and get it done so we could get Ethan into his home.
So at one point, the plan was to return the child to him.
Yes.
Because Mr. Scholes, he was in prison at the time, but he was not involved in the incident that led to the removal of the child. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so there was hope that the child could be placed with him.
Yes, ma'am.
And the department at this time is not asking for termination of his rights.
Correct.
And does the department believe that the child is old enough to determine whether or not he wants to have contact with his father?
Yes, ma'am.
Has the department provided him with his father's phone number?
Yes, I believe he has it.
Okay. Can you confirm that he has it?
Right this second, no.
Well, not right now, but I mean, going forward, can you confirm that the child knows how to contact his father?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And the department, is it the department's intention to prevent Mr. Scholes from visiting with the child if that's what the child desires?
No, ma'am.
Okay, pass the witness.
Thank you, Judge. In regards to Ethan, my understanding is he's doing well. He's actually in school right now. He's over in the Oban home. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And he's doing well in school.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of behavioral issues with some friend groups. His grades dropped a little bit, but he says he's working hard to get those back up.
Okay, good. Now, in regards to the recommendation is that he remain home, at least for the time being, is my understanding. Am I right on that?
Yes, sir.
And back in February, there was a psychological evaluation done. Do you recall that?
In February.
Yeah, I'll just represent to you.
Yes.
I believe it's February 23rd, something like that. I can look. In any event, let me get to my point is that Ethan has had some psychological and emotional issues throughout this case. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, sir.
And part of, would you argue with the psychologist's assessment that Ethan needs structure at this particular point in his life?
That's correct.
And do you believe he's receiving that in his current placement?
Yes, I do.
And I understand he's been back and forth about the aunt, but right now, do we believe, or do you believe rather, that the current placement would really provide a more stable structure for Ethan at this particular point?
Yes, I do.
And also permanency to the department would also provide the department the ability to continue any type of emotional, psychiatric, psychological, and emotional care that he needs. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are a lot of those factors, but also contact with family, beneficial contact with family was also considered to be a very important factor in Ethan's well-being. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right now, do you have any concerns with placement whatsoever?
No, sir, I do not.
And in fact, termination right now would probably have certain of either parent would have probably more detrimental effects than beneficial effects. Would you agree with me there?
I would agree with that.
Okay. Now, when it comes to visits with his mom and dad and any other family members, we're just, Ethan is old enough and he seems mature enough. I've had conversations with him to make those decisions on his own. I believe that's been your testimony.
Yes,
And do you trust him enough to make those decisions?
I do.
Okay. All right, Your Honor. That's all the questions I'll have. I'll have a recommendation later in the
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, and anybody else have anything further for this witness?
No, Judge.
Judge,
Mr. Hammonds, do you have anything to present today?
Judge, I'd like to ask LaToya a few questions, please.
Sure.
LaToya, throughout the course of this situation, you have done the best you can to maintain contact with Ethan. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. If I can make it, I always text the caseworker or his caseworker or my caseworker. I always let them know ahead of time.
And there were some months that you were having some medical issues, that it was difficult.
Yes, sir. I was in the hospital, so yes.
Okay. Is your health better now?
It's getting better, but it's still on the iffy.
Okay, but you are still wanting to maintain contact with Ethan, and if that means meeting at the park or even having Zoom contact,
Yes.
you would like to do that.
Yes, I do it because his little sister, they're so close and I don't want to mess up that bond.
How old is she?
She'll be 10 in April next month, so
Oh,
they're close.
okay, and she enjoys meeting with Ethan and he enjoys meeting with her.
Yes, sir. They adore each other.
All right, now we've discussed the particulars of this particular order that the judge will sign. Are you in agreement with that?
Yes, sir. As long as I'm able to see him, and I will help as much as I can. I just don't want him to feel like I just let him down.
And
So
that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I just want him to continue to see his siblings and his grandma.
And you do feel like the children's home is doing a good job with him and they're helping him with counseling and things with that nature.
Yes, sir. If I was his age, I wish I had that kind of help. But I'm where he's at. I know his foster parents, and so does my brother. So there's always a male role model there that I cannot give him. So I'm grateful for that.
All right, I have nothing further, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Cox, any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Barfield or Ms. Copy, you have any questions?
No, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Barfield?
No question.
Okay,
Nothing further, Judge.
okay. All right, then, Ms. Cop, anything to present today?
Nothing, Judge.
All right, before I take Mr. Barfield's recommendation, I'm looking back. There was a AG order entered in April of 2020. In this case, it confirmed some arrearages of child support owed by Mr. Scholes to Ms. Bernard. And it referenced that there had been a prior support order back in 2011, but this order modified and ordered 0 medical support and 0 child support. Is Mr. Scholes on any kind of disability, or why? Anybody know why that occurred?
I believe he was incarcerated, Judge.
Okay. But he is no longer.
He is no longer incarcerated.
Do we know if he's working?
I do not, Judge.
Your Honor, I believe that he is working, although I'm not sure where.
Yeah, where or what he makes or anything else.
No, ma'am.
You have a recommendation to make?
I do, Your Honor. First of all, I'm in agreement with what the department has announced. I don't know if that's on or off the record. That the department remain permanent managing conservator of Ethan, that both parents be named possessory conservators, that visitation be allowed between the parents and Ethan as determined by Ethan's choice. I have no objection to the type of visits, whether they're in person, electronic, however that occurs. Open communication with the parents are fine as well. In this particular matter, I believe that is indeed in the best interest of Ethan, given his age. And I do believe that current placement should remain until further order of the court based upon Ethan's need for a little more structure. If he has looked at being moved, I think we need to at least make the court aware and everybody aware, just to make sure we're doing what's in his best.
And how many other children does mom still have in the home?
2, Your Honor.
She said 2, Judge.
Okay. At this time, I'm going to modify the prior orders that were in this SAPSR. I'm going to name the department as permanent managing conservator of the child, Ethan. I'll name both parents as possessory conservators. I'm going to modify Mr. Scholes' child support order and order him to pay based on minimum wage. And $60 a month for medical support. All of that to begin, let's say May 1st of 2023. Visits between father and Ethan will be basically based on what Ethan wants. I'm gonna find at this time that Ms. Bernard has participated with the department, has engaged with us. She's regularly visiting with the child, so I'm not going to order her to pay any child support or medical support at this time. Also recognizing that she's got 2 other children in the home. But visitation with Ms. Bennard will also be as Ethan wants that to be. So if things are going great, then they can continue to have what contact that they want. Okay. All right, then, Ms. Bernard, you will be, still involved in this and engaged with us, I hope. I am going to dismiss your attorney and all the other attorneys at this point in time. And Mr. Barfield, I think we will be making a substitution, Ms. Zavala, into the case. And but Ms. Kopp, you are discharged and Mr. Hammonds is discharged at this time. If at any point in time, Ms. Bernard, if things got difficult or rocky or whatever, you always would have the right to request a court-appointed attorney again.
Okay.
If something changed and the department was trying to seek termination of parental rights, I clearly don't anticipate that happening. I mean, he's going to be 17 before you know it. So
He'll be 17 in the end of July. So
yeah. So, but just so that you know. Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody, and I'll sign an order when y'all get it to me. We're here today.
Okay, thank you so
on
much.
a
All right,
placement
thank you, Judge.
hearing, and we are conducting this through Zoom based on a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. And we are also live streaming, and Ms. Taylor is making our record. All right, we'll go ahead and take everyone's announcements.
Daniel Trout with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Brooks Barfield, for mom, Letitia Lerma.
Natalie Archer for father Cesar Alcaraz Rosales, who is not present.
Stacy Zavala, on behalf of all the Rosales children, we are here today on just a motion that affects the 2 girls. And actually, I'm noticing I had requested that Melissa, and I don't know if I say your right name right, Saleh, be present. I appreciate her being here, but based on our previous discussions, I may not need her, and I'd be fine to release her at this time.
Okay. All right, then, counsel, any objection?
I've got no objection because she's willing to stay if she wants to. Yeah.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, Ms. Saleh, then you are free to go at this time. You're welcome to stay if you would like, but you're free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Nobody ever likes to stay.
Rarely. She hit that button quick.
Okay, then. Ms. Zavala, I think this hearing was your request, correct?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, then I'm going to let you go first. So you may call your first witness.
Okay, I'd like to call Destiny Olivas.
Okay, Ms. Olivas, if you will, please raise your right hand for me.
Right now.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right, Destiny, how are you related to Lexus and Gabrielle?
I am their biological aunt.
And are you mom's sister?
Yes, I am her oldest sister.
Great. How long have you had a relationship with these girls?
I've had a relationship since they moved from Florida. My sister moved here, and I could get the dates wrong, possibly. I think in 2018, and they lived with me since 2018, and then like in 2020-ish, I think, she got upset with me and she left with the kids, but she returned later on, about like 5 or 6 months later.
So throughout the girls' lives, there have been different times when they have lived in your home.
Yes.
In fact, right before removal in this case, were the girls' mom and was it Sammy? They were all 3 living in your home?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you participate with the investigator during the investigative portion of this case?
Yes, ma'am.
were you very concerned when mom took the kids and left your home?
Yes, right there and then I called the CPS people and told them that she was really upset with me and she took the kids without bathing, feeding, and everything right there and then. And that's when I was just devastated when she took them.
So there's been a home study that was done on you and Matthew's home that was denied because of several concerns. And I'd like to go through a few things with you to try to address those concerns.
Okay.
Are you a US citizen?
Yes.
Okay. Is Matthew a US citizen?
Yes.
Do you have valid driver's licenses?
Yes, we both do.
Okay. Right now, how many people live in your home?
Matthew and I and our 4 children.
How old are the children?
Alejandra is our oldest, she's 15, and then it's Mariana, she's 13, and then it's Dylan, that's 13, and Luke is the youngest, he's 12.
And you've got a relationship with and love all 5 of the kids, but we're only talking about the girls at this point, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because there's not enough room in your house for all of them.
Correct.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about your previous CPS history. That's been a concern.
Okay.
Can you tell me what your previous CPS case revolved around?
Yes, it was domestic violence that I was very, very naive at the moment. I did all my parenting classes. I did domestic classes, just like everything to get me back on board of knowing what I can and I won't take anymore.
So your children were actually removed at some point from your care.
Yes.
When was that?
It's been about 6 years ago, maybe a little longer. When we reunited, the judge gave me an option of staying or moving to Amarillo, leaving everything behind. And I chose leave everything behind. My kids are more important.
And so you moved from Florida to Amarillo?
No, it was a little town called Burnett, Texas, a little bit outside of Austin.
Got it. Okay. And so it took you a while to leave that relationship. So at the very beginning of that case, there was some back and forth, correct?
Correct.
Okay. How long have you been separated from that person, the father of your children?
For a very, very long time. Since the case started, I don't even know exactly the date. So I'm not even gonna say a date because I would be lying. But when they moved us to Amarillo, I was done and I made a decision of the way I would keep myself away is cut all bonds, change my number, change everything, and just stay away. And then the judge ordered a protective order stating that if anyone got near, if I even went back, I would get in trouble and go to jail. If he got near us, I would have to call the police and he would go to jail. So we made sure that was in place. And I think it just barely expired this year.
Okay. How long have you and Matthew Jimenez been together?
This year will be 5 years.
In the time that you have been living with Matthew, all of your kids have lived with you as well, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Has CPS been involved at any time since y'all have been together?
No, ma'am.
Do you have any criminal history?
Criminal, no.
What do you do for income?
I own my own cleaning business, it's called, and I have a schedule that's really tight and I make sure I can take my kids to school and pick them up. Those are my main things. That's why I did self-employment, so I could be around my kids and do what I have to do for them.
Okay. One of the concerns in this case is you've already got 4 kids in the home. Can you afford to have 2 more? Does
Yes.
your income allow for that?
Yes, ma'am. Because the customers that I have, if I'm ever needing extra jobs or anything, all I have to do is just add extra days and I have the income.
Okay. Do you know approximately how much you make per year or per month?
Like I know weekly it's 500 a week. 500 a week every week.
And that's take home?
That's take home. Yes, ma'am.
And Matthew works as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any issues paying your current bills?
No, ma'am.
Um, have you been late on rent at any
No,
point?
ma'am. No, ma'am.
How long have you been in the home that you're in now?
I've lived in this apartment for 6 years.
And you've never had a problem making that rent payment?
Never.
How about groceries? You're able to provide groceries for the kids in your home right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you think that you'd be able to provide when 2 additional join in?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a vehicle?
Yes, ma'am. And I just got done paying for it.
And does Matthew have a vehicle?
Yes, ma'am, he does.
So you only have 1 car payment?
No, we have 0 car payments now. We just finished paying it off last month. So we are done with our car payments.
Even better. Love it.
Yes.
So is there physical space for the girls in your home?
Yes. At first, when I thought I was going to get them a long time ago, I went and purchased beds for them, brand new beds. So they have brand new beds in the girls' room, and we have it perfectly set up for all 4 of the girls to fit perfectly, comfortably, and everything.
So you'd have 4 girls in 1 room and 2 boys in another bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Who would you use as a backup caregiver if you needed one?
It would be a really close friend, a family friend. Her name is Tara.
Would they be willing to do a background check?
Yes, ma'am. And they're so willing to, they want us to have the girls. They're even willing if we can't afford daycare, they're willing to help pay for it. And they're just all different areas that if I need any type of assistance or help, all I have to do is reach out to them. But honestly, we're perfectly fine on our own.
I think you also identified, I believe it's an aunt who could be a backup caregiver, Jeannie Solis.
Yep. Yes, she was the one that took my children in whenever they got removed. So I know that she'll pass everything also. And she's willing. She cuts hair, so she's free in the mornings and the afternoons if I need her.
Okay. And she's here in town?
Yes, she's actually a few blocks away from me.
And she actually participated in the home study and talked to the person who was doing the home study at the time.
Correct.
Okay. At some point, we had set a hearing to ask for the girls to be moved to you. It was early on in this case.
Correct.
What was going on at that time that we didn't proceed at that point?
My sister was very upset with me because I wasn't doing exactly what she wanted me to do. Any CPS people that called and asked me questions, I would be completely honest and tell them the truth and not lie to them. So she was really upset that I did that.
Was she coming by your house or being aggressive towards you and your family?
She would it wasn't really her, it was the boyfriend. He did state some threatening things. So of course we took charge. We put cameras up. We did call the police and let them know, we're concerned about this. But after we did that, they left us alone.
Okay, so that's no longer a concern. That was your concern back then. That's why we didn't proceed at that point, but you now feel like that's a better situation.
Correct.
I believe those are the only questions I have for Ms. Olivas at this point.
Okay.
Ms. Olivas, what are the ages of the children that are in your home right now?
Alejandra is 15, Mariana is 13, Dylan is 13, and Luke is 12.
And how do your teenage girls feel about having 2 much younger children be in the same room with them?
They're actually really excited. My 13-year-old is super excited because she bonded with the girls really well. And the 15-year-old loves it because she would hang out with girls. She taught them how to do their hair and makeup. So, we're all on the same board. We're all excited.
Okay, so they are very your other kids in the house are accepting of the girls coming into the home, sharing their space, being in their business, everything that goes along with having multiple kids in the home.
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Okay. And these children have been in and out of your home as it is anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they've somewhat already adjusted to that at times, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Trout, you got any questions?
Just a couple of real quick ones. I know, Ms. Destiny, you and Mr. Wallace spoke a lot about finances and how you'd be able to cover some expenses and stuff. You understand that at this point, due to the previous failed home study, if the judge does place that you would not qualify for any funding right now, you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And that's not an issue for you?
No, sir.
Okay. Is it my understanding that y'all are working on some administrator to try to get that overturned? The home study? Are you aware of that?
No.
Okay. That an administrative review is possibly being filed?
Oh, yes.
Okay, okay. That could possibly open up some funding, but not, that's not a guarantee. You understand that?
And that's fine. Yes.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you'd mentioned some incidents early on with my client. When's the last time you've had contact with her?
I went to talk to her yesterday because Miss Mavis called me and asked me if I could take her to an appointment this morning. And whenever I tried to reach her this morning, she wouldn't answer, so I couldn't take her.
The issue is, do you know if she's still with that particular boyfriend that you mentioned before or not?
Where I went was at my mother's house, and my mother will not allow no one there.
Okay. And since then, you haven't received, are you concerned in any way, shape, or form about any instances at your home that would give you pause to take these kiddos in?
No, sir.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Okay, Mr. Archer?
Would you happen to know my client who is Cesar Rosales?
I met him years and years ago, whenever I lived in Florida, and my kids were barely 3, 2, and 1. So that was many years ago. I haven't heard anything since they moved from Florida to my house.
And you don't know anyone who may have contact with him, do you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I have no further questions.
All right, Mr. Baldwin, you got anything further of this witness?
Nothing further at this time, and would like to call Matthew Jimenez.
All right, Mr. Jimenez, good afternoon. Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly
ma'am.
swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Jimenez, you've heard Ms. Olivas. Is there anything that she has testified to so far that you disagree with?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so one of the concerns in the home study is your previous criminal history. And would you agree you've been upfront with that from the beginning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you tell the court what your criminal history is?
My criminal history is in 2010, I was caught on the border of Juarez and the United States. And I had marijuana on my vehicle. And I believe the charge is importation and intent to distribute. And I did 2 years of federal prison time. And when I was released in 2012, I completed 3 years of supervised release. And I've been raising my daughter, Mariana Jimenez, since then, since my release, single parent, holding a job and holding an address for her.
Okay, so when you were incarcerated, of course, you didn't have custody of your daughter. Did you have to go back to family court to get custody of your daughter?
No, ma'am. She was abandoned by her biological mother while I was incarcerated. And my mother, Rebecca Vessel, she obtained the rights to raise her. And when I got out of prison, I proved to my mother that I had changed. And we went to court in Potter County, and we got it all back to my custody. And I put the mother of my child on child support, and we got all the court proceedings, and I am the custodial parent on her custody hearing.
And how long has she lived with you?
Since I believe 2012, or 13.
How old is she now?
She is 13 years old.
Since the time that she has come to live with you, have you had any CPS involvement?
No, ma'am. The only involvement I've ever had with CPS was I had another child with another woman, and under her custody, he accidentally drowned, and that was the only CPS case I've ever been involved with.
I'm sorry. Since the time that you've been out, have you held a job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where are you working?
I have recently, 3 years ago, I opened up my own lawn care business, and just this last year, I obtained my sprinkler license, and so now I'm licensed in the state of Texas as an irrigator, and I run my own business.
Right. One of the concerns that this court may have, as I addressed with Ms. Olivas, is whether you guys can afford to take in 2 more people. So what does your financial situation look like in terms of monthly or weekly income?
Okay, yeah, it looks really promising. Like with my sprinkler license, I think I should start making over 60,000 a year, I believe, which is a big change because I usually average about 15,000 a year on just lawn care. So it's looking really promising, and it wouldn't be an issue to take on, that my 2 nieces, Lexus and Gabriella, wouldn't be an issue at all. And it looks really promising that we're gonna go up in, from middle class to, a little higher with this sprinkler license. So really excited for that.
And even before your sprinkler license, you and Destiny together were able to financially provide for all of the children in your home.
Oh yeah, yes, ma'am. I believe we even had all 5 of them here at once, and yeah, and we just put in the hard work. Parenting's hard work, but we just stay with it and stay involved, and that's our goal right now.
And when you say all 5, you mean all 5 of the nieces and nephews, the Rosales
Yes.
children?
Yes, ma'am. Plus our 4. Yes.
Okay. And I've been to your house, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you showed me food and beds and things like that, correct?
Oh yeah, and I've gained plenty of weight since living in this happy home. So food's
So-
not an issue at all.
If the girls were to come and live with you, there would be somebody coming to your home regularly. In fact, multiple somebodies coming to your home regularly to check on them. It would be a caseworker, there would be a CASA, a court-appointed special advocate, and myself. We'd all be coming out and checking with the girls. Are you okay with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I believe those are all the questions I have of Mr. Jimenez.
Okay.
Okay, and Mr. Trout, do you have any questions?
Just one quick one, Mr. Menez, on the criminal history,
Yes, sir.
have you had any run-ins since then, since you got out of federal?
No, sir.
No other criminal background, no other run-ins with law enforcement?
No, sir. Just tickets, or I paid a lot of money in tickets, so I've learned over time just to do the speed limit because I've paid a lot of money to tickets.
Okay, all right. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Me too, Mr. Jimenez. Okay, Mr. Barfield, any questions?
I have no questions.
Okay, and Ms. Archer?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, Ms. Zavala, anything further?
Your Honor, unless you need to hear anything further, I do have reports from both of the girls' current placements that I could share. But at this time, I'm through with witnesses unless anybody's got anything else they need to know from Ms. Olivas and Mr. Jimenez.
I mean, I think I've heard what I needed to hear after having reviewed the home study. So, so does anybody else have any other questions for Mr. Jimenez or Ms. Olivas?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, and let me just ask, Mr. Trout, do you have any witnesses to put on today?
No witnesses, Your Honor. The department's stance on it is simply a failed home study, and the issue of where possibly we can't place the kids in there. Of course, the court can, we just can't upfront agree to it due to the failed home studies.
I understand. Let me just ask then, Mr. Barfield, Ms. Archer, you all have any witnesses to present today?
No, Your
I
Honor.
have no witnesses.
All right, I do want to hear from CASA because I'm confident CASA has been somewhat in the loop on this. So I really do want to hear if CASA has any concerns.
I am the CASA advocate and I see all 5 kids every month. And I can think of nothing that Lexus and Gabrielle would like more than to go be with their aunt. They talk about her fondly and look forward to being with her. Carla and I went to her home last week and visited with her, and there's plenty of room and plenty of food. And I really do think plenty of love for them.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, then. I'm going to go ahead and place Gabby and Liz there with their aunt and uncle and the rest of the kiddos. Oh,
Ma'am,
yes.
yes, it's Gabrielle and Lexus.
I'm sorry. Gabrielle and Lexus. Okay.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was
No.
correct.
I apologize. Yeah, Gabrielle and Lexus. And I don't know how quickly that can be accomplished, but obviously, you know, it may take a day or two, you know, it just kind of depends on everybody's schedules, but we'll get them moved as quick as we can. And I don't know what else to say other than I thank you all. You know, it's not easy taking 2 additional kids into your home, nor is it, you know, necessarily great having people in and out of your home and checking on this and looking over your shoulders. And I mean, I get all that, you know, I mean, we are compelled to have to do due diligence for children that are in our care. And I recognize that it is somewhat of a, you know, a imposition, but the fact that you all are willing to do that is, you know, it just speaks volumes. So I really appreciate that your willingness to take the girls in. The only other thing I would tell you all, you know, don't be afraid to reach out for help if you need help. Okay.
Okay.
So, and maybe we can get this administrative review done and get all of that taken care of. And then, you know, you all may decide to go down the road of being licensed and everything that goes along with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Anybody got any questions?
Judge, I think it, not necessarily a question, but kind of goes unsaid. I know that being mom's sister, just due to the case, you know, we can't just have normal drop-bys and visits.
Right.
That has to be scheduled. So we just.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you folks probably have a grasp of that and understand that, but she can't just drop in. And, you know, if you're somewhere, Walmart or something, and, you know, you see her, you've got to try to, within reason, go ahead and exit and, you know, go on about your business. You know, I'm not going to tell you to grab a hold of the children and run for your life. You know, that does nothing but just frighten kids. And so, you know, if it happens, just deal with it the best you can. Kids can say hi, you know, and then just be sure and let the children's caseworker know about it. Let Ms. Zavala know about it, you know, so that it doesn't appear anybody's trying to play fast and loose with the rules. But, you know, in a community the size of Amarillo, it can certainly happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then I appreciate y'all, and everybody have a good rest of your afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you
you,
very
Judge.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You bet. Amy?